I am going to feed my starter. And so many people have sourdough questions. And because I've posted a few things, they think I'm the sourdough expert, and I am not. But I've been doing sourdough for about a year, and I have kind of just figured out my rhythm. So I always feed my starter in the morning. You should pick a time of the day and always feed your starter then. So just to back up, you can take your starter and put it in the fridge, and when you're going to use it, take it out, feed it. But I make a lot of bread. I find mine does better if I don't do that. If I'm leaving town, I will put it in the fridge. Or if I know it's going to be a week that I don't bake, which doesn't happen very often, then I will just put it in my fridge. But this is my sourdough starter. This is what you're gonna need. You're gonna need some water, and this is warm. You need either like bottled water. What I do is I have a hot, like a electric pot, and I will boil my water, and then I will put it in here and use it after it's been boiled. Tap water, a lot of tap water has chlorine in it. Chlorine will kill your starter, so you don't want to do that. And then you'll need, I find a wheat flour is best for feeding it. This is my favorite flour. I buy it at Walmart, and I love it. This is to put my discard on. Let me explain that. So I have my starter, and I'm not going to keep all of it. I'm only going to take so much of it and feed it. And then I have one of these in my fridge where I put the discard. And there's tons of great discard recipes that I love, but my discard is full. I have more than enough in my fridge. So I am going to take it, and I'm just going to put it on this paper plate and throw it away. But you want to keep your discard until you have some discard. A digital scale, the water, my flour, and that's about it. A digital scale is important because almost all sourdough recipes are in grams, and many people are irritated about that, but go with it. Get a digital scale. It's not that expensive, and use it. So there's different ratios of feeding, and you need to find what works for you. Most people feed a 1-1-1 ratio. That means 1 part starter, 1 part flour, 1 part water. I find for my starter, the 1-2-2 works. So I put 1 part starter, 2 parts water, 2 parts flour. So that's what I like. I'm trying to think if I'm strategic in how I do it for if I'm going to be baking. If I'm going to be baking, my recipe that I prefer calls for 300 grams of starter. It's a lot more than most recipes. But I'm not going to bake today, so I'm not going to worry about having that much starter. I think I'll bake tomorrow, and then I'm going to need that much starter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 50 grams of starter, 100 grams of water, and 100 grams of whole wheat unbleached flour. Here we go. 50 grams right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and just clean this out. You don't want to put sourdough down your drain because it turns to cement. So you want to get rid of most of it. Discard is so good to make gravy. There's tons of great discard recipes. And then I'm going to wash my jar out really good on my drain, but I do it with a lot of water so that it doesn't cause issues. Plus I have a great plumbing friend that I purchase enzymes from, so I don't have to be quite as careful, but I still am very careful with what I put down my drain. Have my jar all cleaned out. Got my starter in here. So I have 50 grams of starter. Now I'm going to do 100 grams of water. So I need to reset my scale. And then 100 grams of flour. And then I'm going to stir it together. There it is. And it's just a thick muffin, I would say. Then I put that back in my jar. And then I'm gonna wipe off any that I got on the edge, because it dries like cement. And then I am gonna take this and I'm gonna move it to where my starter is, and then I can tell when it raises. Because what'll happen, this will raise up to about here. When that starts falling, that's when it's ready to use. So I normally feed early in the morning, like around 5 o'clock, and then usually by about 1, my starter is ready to make my bread. And then you loosely put a lid over it, and it's done. And I feed my starter every day because she's my baby.